22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
Yo, yo.
What's happening? This is Black Westchester's People Before Politics radio show and
episode 396.
Oh man, 396. Shout out to everybody that is watching on Instagram at Damon K. Jones. And if we go over, usually Instagram only keep us on for an hour. So if Instagram cuts us off, please go over to Black Westchester on Facebook or
YouTube.
Or definitely go over to YouTube and like and share and follow. Got to get our follows up and on YouTube. So please go over to YouTube and like our page and follow us on YouTube. So I know y'all looking at the background. The background is a little different. I had to make some changes in my setup because
coming to us from an undisclosed location today.
Exactly. But this is great because I'm learning how to set up situations when I'm not home. And that's it. But I want to get straight to the nitty-gritty today because we have for people in Westchester County, man, like we really are dealing with what's going on in our political landscape, especially the people in CDC. Well, I mean, Westchester, period. Because I believe June 25th will change the Westchester political landscape forever.
Absolutely.
June 25th is going to break up the Democratic Party for what we know it was supposed to be. It's not going to be that no more if they succeed in taking out Congressman Jamal Bowman. Those that have been following me and AJ and the work that we have been doing, and not just us, I think the national media is catching up to what we have been talking about from the beginning in dealing with special interest groups like AIPAC buying politicians. And the unfortunate situation is that George Lattimore has taken the bag of gold to portray the people.
Get 30 pieces of silver he sold that for.
Exactly. So, we have to understand that big money is going to take over Westchester politics. But as we know, big money is going to lock out Black politicians from government level positions, elected positions, and probably local, because once they fall like dominoes. And unfortunately, with politicians, even Mondaire Jones, they are all looking for the bag, the 8-pack bag, instead of representing the people that vote them in office. And it's very sad. It's very sad. Yes, Sandy Bernardi has taken the bag of gold to portray the people, absolutely. And we, the people in Westchester County and CD 16, we have to not be fooled. And especially in Mount Vernon. If you're from Mount Vernon and you're watching, you need to be paying close attention to what they're doing. And so, so they are using funding strategies to target Jamal Bowman. And not only that, let's go back. AJ, I know I think you reported, or who reported the progressive of Westchester County, with all this going on, they told George he's not progressive.
Yes. So, also we got a special issue coming out this week. And one of the things in the issue is an open letter to former George Latimer supporters. It's real short, so I'm just going to read it real quick. So we are the Westchester progressives from all walks of life who believe that no matter what we look like, we all deserve dignity. We worked hard to elect George Latimer because we thought he believed that too. But when George let a right-wing lobby recruit him to run against Jamal Bowman, our district's first Black congressman and one of the most important progressive champions in Congress, we realized that George Latimer isn't who we thought he was. Funded by Republicans, we elected George to get MAGA Republicans out of Westchester. Now he's whining and dining with top Trump donors like Alex Dubitsky, directly accepting over $1 million from the right-wing lobby group, along with $25 million in attack ads from their super PACs. Incredibly, they've even gotten over 1,000 Republicans to register as Democrats just to vote Latimer vote for Latimer in the Democratic primary. Stroking Islamophobia. After Trump was elected, so many Muslims came forward to elect George Latimer to fight back against this kind of division and discrimination they faced after 9/11. They faced after 9/11. But since he started running for Congress, Latimer has spread hateful rhetoric about Muslims and accused people of being Hamas supporters just for wanting peace. Dividing Democrats. We've worked so hard to build the Democratic Party so we could keep unseating Republicans. In a year when our democracy is on the line, we were ready to spend this year going all in to help Mondaire beat MAGAs like Mike Lauder, and just like we were going all in helping George beat, the way we went all in to help George beat MAGA Rob Astorino in 2017. Instead, we're now defending our top progressive leader from George Latimer. Latimer is willing to risk Democratic control just to quench his insatiable thirst for power. Latimer is dividing the Democratic Party when we should be uniting. Why are all these Trump backers throwing their support behind George Latimer? And how can he accept money from groups threatening our democracy? Westchester deserves better. New York deserves better. Our county deserves better. And the Democratic Party deserves better. We deserve Congressman Jamal Bowman, who in 2 terms has proven himself to be the same thing he was during his 10 years as a principal at a top Bronx public school, a fearless progressive champion who fights for every single one of us in this district, this state, and this country. Jamal knows that sticking to his principles and values means inviting the most expensive congressional primary ever, but it will take a lot more than George Latimer and his GOP and the GOP and the special interests to scare Jamal Bowman and the true progressives of CD 16 who stand with him. We hear, and it ends. This is the end. So here we are, here are the real progressive results. George Latimer lost us. We stand by our progressive principles, and with our progressive principle, we worked hard to elect George Latimer, and now we'll work even harder to stop him. This is signed by 20 or 30 people who worked on the campaign. They each signed their name. None of them are anonymous, and they all talked about what they did. They canvassed door to door in Hastings. They were Democratic district leaders. They're parts of Indivisible 16, campaigned, was members of his transition team, members of the Westchester County Human Rights, worked on the county executive campaign, part of Concerned Families of Westchester. Many of them say they campaigned, sponsored, or volunteered. A couple of them said they've had him over to the house and raised money for him. And it goes on and on and on. You can read this. I think it's on blackwestchester.com, but you can also see it in the paper.
It's on Black Westchester.
It is on Black Westchester. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can read and see. I'm glad Damon brought this up. Black Westchester has been labeled as a Jamal Bowman political operative by George Latimer. I say this again, and I said it before. George Latimer enjoyed the support of Black Westchester for years. We endorsed him against Astorino. We endorsed him for re-election. We covered several of his initiatives that he did as county executive. But once we did not agree with him, and we started talking about issues and policies we didn't agree with, for some reason he doesn't feel like his feet should be held to the fire like everybody else's, and that the criticism of him is an attack on him and makes us Jamal Bowman operatives. You are an elected official. We are Black Westchester. This is what we do. We hold elected officials' feet to the fire. You can't be down with us when we're supportive of you and then call us haters or political operatives or whatever when we criticize you, when we criticize your initiatives. And I started out not criticizing you at all. I would criticize AIPAC. I criticize your being sponsored and supported financially by AIPAC. We called out who AIPAC was, very detail-wise, who all of these groups, the District PAC, and all of these groups were. Very detailed. Gave you links. Said what they were saying on their websites. Community over party and register as Republican to vote Jamal Bowman out. I'm clear on this, and I've said this from the beginning. If the Democrats of Westchester feel that George Latimer can do a better job than what Jamal has been doing, the Democrats of Westchester should be free to exercise that in their voting in a Democratic primary without the interference of Republicans. Now, for those who feel that Jamal Bowman deserves a third term, the Democratic voters should be free to re-elect Jamal Bowman in a Democratic primary without Republican interference.
Exactly.
the Republicans have taken over the Democratic Party the way they tried to the Westchester Independence Party years ago, and a judge ruled that several thousands of Republicans who switched their party affiliation had to be removed from the Westchester Independence Party polls because they were trying to politically decapitate the head of that party, who's no longer with us. Rest in peace to Dr. Julio Cavallo. So this is a proven method that has been done here in Westchester. We're not talking about what's done in the country. We're not talking about what Republicans are doing in Congress. We're talking about what Republicans have done here in Westchester. And if you don't wake up, the last thing I want to say, and I didn't mean to monopolize this time, Damon, because I know you have a lot to say. They are successfully dividing the Democratic Party over what is going on in Israel. What we're facing now is major MAGA millions over a grassroots people-powered movement. And that's what it's coming down to. They're running massive attack ads. They're killing trees with all of this political stuff that they mailing out to everybody every day, 2 times a day, and then coming by, dropping in your door. You know what I'm saying? Some is misinformation, some is political rhetoric. We understand that's how it goes. It's silly season. You win by all means necessary sometimes, but the people have to speak up. If you don't speak up and they successfully take over and interfere with the party, you are to blame for not speaking up, for not fighting back, for not pushing back. This is your party. I'm speaking to the Democrats of Westchester. And I want to make one more point before I hand it over to Damon. And this is for the Democrats. Regardless if you're like Lattimore or Bowman, there is a fight for control of the House. Y'all fumbled the ball on the 5-yard line with the attempted failed gerrymandering attempt in redistricting, which made the things go over and get redistricted again. The end result was the loss of 6 Democratic seats. New York Dems are solely responsible for the Democrats losing control of the House. So every seat is important. Now, we're going to talk about Mondaire later, but I want to say this one thing about Mondaire. So by Mondaire, who left his district, and I've spoke to a lot of people who are disappointed he left, that he let Sean Patrick Maloney push him out. Because they said they would have voted for him over Sean, and they would have voted for him over Lawler. If he had stayed and fought, they loved him. They would have voted for a re-election, but he left. Now he's coming back, and he's trying to regain his seat. His seat has been one of the seats that got turned over to the Republicans, a Republican, Mike Lawler, who a lot of Democrats like for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Mondaire is going to beat him. But when Mondaire, to separate himself from being associated with the attacks of Jamal Bowman, he outright endorsed George Latimer, and we'll talk about this as well later, and lost the support of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus, and lastly, the Congressional Black Progressive Caucus by taking back their endorsement of Mondaire. No longer see Mondaire as a progressive. And more importantly, they're saying to George Latimer, they're sending a clear message, they don't see you as a progressive. So they're taking their endorsement back over Mondaire, over endorsing George Latimer. We're going to talk about a lot of those things later, but let me just turn it over the mic to Damon before I just go on. But I wanted to make certain points, though. We have to be clear and purposeful in what we say. This is facts over feelings. You know what I'm saying? We have
Right.
to we have to educate the people. Black Westchester has been here 10 years because we speak truth to the power and we say things that everybody else is afraid to say.
Right. Right. So you have so much money, right? What people have to understand, there's so much money being dropped into CD16, this race, by pro-Israel lobby groups, that they want to buy CD16. You know, they bought George Lattimore, and it's very unfortunate because he didn't have to take that money, to run. He could have ran on his own with the agenda of what CDC, with the agenda of what AIPAC has, their national agenda. And it's not just Jamal Bowman. They're dropping a lot of money in Jamal Bowman's race, but they have put millions and millions of dollars in other races throughout the country to try to take out people that just was critical of what's going on and the money's being spent, in war, not just Israel. I mean, I can't understand how we are as American people who barely can pay rent in New York, who barely can find affordable housing to even get a mortgage for, that are not upset that our tax dollars are going, not just millions but billions, is going overseas. And we have so many issues right here in CD16 in Westchester County in New York State. But I also did an article, you could go on Black Westchester, of all the Democrats that have received money from AIPAC. And this is a tactic that they've learned. So either you take this 1 point something million dollars, or we'll run somebody against you and spend $5 million against you, and these coward politicians, cowards that we vote for, take the money. They take the bag of gold over than standing for the people, standing for democracy, standing for freedom, justice, and equality. They take the bag of gold. And this is what we're seeing. And this is what we're seeing. And then we have to beg to get pennies of funding for community programs. And they're sending billions of dollars overseas.
Like Tupac said, you got money for war but can't feed the poor.
I could understand. I get all the international. Everybody's, oh yeah, but international safety, yeah, but safety should be at home first. Take care of your house first, right? That's what we want to tell parents.
That's what my mother always told me.
So
you take care of home first. All that good, your friends and stuff, that's good. You take care of home first.
So the whole thing is this, man. We really have to understand, and we really have to educate ourselves that these organizations are backed by AIPAC, and then they create other organizations and fund money to them so they could get around the polling and get around the laws. But it's crazy because the recent polling shows that the majority of people in CD16 and in New York State want a ceasefire. The majority of people understand the need for a two-state solution. But they don't want that. And when have you heard George actually talk about that?
Well, actually, he's criticized. He has criticized Jamal Bowman for calling for a ceasefire early on, for being one of the first ones out here to call for a ceasefire. And I want to throw this in there too, as I interrupt you. What AIPAC has done, what AIPAC is trying to do on a national level, on a state level, on a country level, is to make it illegal to criticize Israel.
Well, I was gonna get to that.
Okay, yeah. So
With the bill that Lola has passed and that will try as sponsored. So
right. So I just want to say, so calling for having humanity and having compassion and empathy for the many people, innocent victims that are being killed on both sides. If they want everybody to condemn October 7th, and we've all done that. Black Westchester done that. Everybody's condemned October 7th. But they don't want you to condemn the innocent lives that are being killed over in Gaza. That makes you a Hamas supporter, or that makes you anti-Semitic.
All right. Yeah, but we got to get stay where we at. We got to talk. I really want to focus on people understanding the money that's being spent on this election, and that our politicians, no matter whether you're Republican or Democrat, is they're taking the bag of gold. And this is, and we can't sit, AJ, please, and we can't sit and say that Republicans are racist, MAGA is racist, and then our own elected officials that say that are taking racist Republican money. That does not work. It's not reality. So who's the hypocrite? Is it us because we allow this to happen and we continue to vote for them because they say they're a Democrat, but they're funded by Republicans? They are Republican light. That's what they are. Just like a Bud Light or Corona Light. They're a Republican light. And we sit and we take our votes and we vote for these people. And the majority of money is coming from Republicans. See, I can't understand how we, the voter, don't see it. And I can't understand how Black people, these Black politicians, are silent. See, that shows that we're hypocrites, or they're getting checks too, just like Mondaire Jones. Now Mondaire Jones is a crazy case because according to the Young Turks, he got $250,000 from AIPAC. But yet AIPAC is supporting his opponent, Mike Lawler, and then he just want to throw his progressive ideology and stab his brother in the back and support George Lattimore when the progressives is trying to put all this money in trying to keep Jamal Bowman in office. Do we understand what we're seeing right now? And let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's put a religion aside. See, because a lot of people want to hide behind religion while they're doing their dirty business. And I'm going to say it again. There's a lot of people that want to hide behind religion while they're doing their dirty business. Let's put religion aside. Israel is a foreign country. And they are buying our politicians. And they're sending our tax dollars to another country. We have literally been invaded. And then when you speak on it, they want to bring up the Judaism religion. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the political agenda that they have. We have to understand our country has been taken over. You don't have to take my word for it. Let's look what's going on. So the International Court of Justice saw Netanyahu and Israel as committing genocide. And then they went to get a warrant. They put out a warrant for Netanyahu and his top people in cabinet. And then the United States House of Representatives is going to pass a bill to go against international law? And everybody that created the bill is on AIPAC payroll. Is on AIPAC payroll. So they are willing to ignore international law. That's why this race is so important. So we got to understand what's going down. And the crazy thing about it is you have so many politicians that's okay with it because they're getting the bag of gold. So these politicians don't work for you no more. Sadly, even the black ones. And what's really sad is the silence of the black leadership in Westchester County, that they're not saying anything. And the only people that's going to suffer is our community. You got to be kidding me. And then we act like we don't have a problem with it. We have become cowards. And we lie to our children about freedom, justice, and democracy. We lie to them. Because we have allowed what is going on right now. And we will allow it. Because the only thing you got to do is give some Negroes some money. And that's what they're doing in Mount Vernon. Just buying people. So they could walk around with George Lattimore signs and put them on their cars. Buying people. And Mount Vernon leadership should know better, because that's what put the city in that type of situation in the first place, because their politics ain't about the people, it's about their pockets. Then they wonder why the city look the way it looks. So listen, y'all have to educate yourself. Please go on Black Westchester. And let me tell you something, we stand by everything that we write. I know I do. I know AJ do. And if anybody feels that we're lying about them, then take us to court.
Or shut up.
Take us to court if you feel that we're lying. And I'm going to make this point. AJ said it earlier. You know, I'm really disappointed in George, because he sits there and talking about we're operatives. Since the day he announced that he was first running for county exec, I was one of the main people that stepped up to support him with Blacks in Law Enforcement of America. And then we got Westchester Corrections Association. We got the Grand Council of Guardians to support him. I was on the transition team. So we supported George all throughout the way, even when he didn't come through on things that he said he was coming through on. But I made it clear we're not supporting this AIPAC. We're not going to allow you to push this AIPAC on us when they don't have no agenda for Black people, and then allow other people to make excuses for that. See, when Black people say we about Black people, they say, you can't say that. You have to be inclusive, Brother Damon. You just can't say you just for Black people. Well, they say it. See, we today they had all out for Israel, or whatever day today. It's okay to be pro-Israel.
Jewish.
No, let me finish. It's okay to be pro-Israel. But it's not okay to be pro-black in politics. That's the hypocrisy of our political process here in Westchester. You can't be pro-black, but it's all right to be pro-Israel. And many of us are pro-black and pro-Israel. We just don't want what's going on over there. And Israel just can't say they're going to control another people. So if you're a politician and you're okay with that, then you're just being a hypocrite to me when we talk about slavery and Jim Crow and segregation and redlining that black people went through. Because that's what they're doing to the politicians, to the Palestinians. They're doing the same. And I say it every show. If you're looking at a basketball game between Israel and Palestinian, and the Palestinian is 1,200 and Israel is 32,000, who won the game? Who won the game? Who won the game? Then you want to get, when it got up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 dead, and Brother Jamal Bowman called for a ceasefire, y'all want to get mad. The war was over when 7,000 was killed. Now we're over 32,000, and they still killing. And United States knows from their history of being in the Middle East, in Desert Storm and those wars, you can't stomp out terrorism. No different than you think you're going to arrest your way out of crime and violence. We already know what's going to happen. But we the voters, especially in District 16 and in Westchester County, we can't allow that. We have to send a message that we're not doing the politics of usual of Washington, D.C. in District 16. Because if we allow this to happen, it's over. It's over for democracy. It's over for any type of black politics here in Westchester County, because any person that you're going to get in front of you is bought and sold. And you got George running around talking about he's a progressive. And thanks to the progressives, local Westchester, and the national congressional congressional caucus calling it out what it needs to be called out. But the problem is these local leaders are silent. You know, how can you be a pastor and not be upset that the homeland of your Christ Jesus has just been torn up? You know, my pastor always said that 2024 was be a year of exposure. A lot of y'all preachers are being exposed because you're very quiet about what's going on in Jesus's homeland, the descendants of the Christ. Go ahead. That's all I got to say, man.
Shout out to Sandy Barnaby. Shout out to Peter Bernstein, New York Working Family Party. Shout out to D. Wilson. Shout out to everybody else who's tuned in. While Damon's talking, I'm moderating all of our our social media. We got it on. We're streaming live on YouTube. We're streaming live on Instagram. We're streaming live on Facebook on several pages. I got it shared on our Black Westchester Twitter page. The video's running. So I'm looking at all your comments and everything on the various formats. So when Damon's talking, you see my head down. I'm actually going from account to account to see, you know what I'm saying, what y'all are saying. So the first two things we talked about, I shared the links on all the social media. AIPAC controversial funding strategies targets Black congressman in CD16, and the open letter to George Latimer. One of the topics you said we were going to talk about. Not yesterday. Well, today's Sunday. So Friday, down the block. I live a half a block. Full disclosure, a half a block. I live in the middle of 7th Avenue, half a block away from the Dole Centers, where Mount Vernon NAACP meets. That's where seniors meet. They have a lot of programs for kids. They had this. This was National Gun Awareness Day or something, and several people had events. And they had one at the Dole Center. I've been there previously. Last year, intern Olivia, she wrote a great piece about it. So this year they had the event, and somewhere very close, if not at the event, because I'm getting conflicting stories, there was gunfire at the gun violence awareness event. We had lots of children out there, bouncy houses and everything. In my reporting of that, I remember two things. One, George Latimer released a anti-gun violence task force or something like that. And on March 26th, Friday, March 26th. So we're not even going back 2 months, 3 months. So, and on that day, he said, gun violence is not a major problem in Westchester. He went on to say, one life is much too much and more. But the bottom line is, he said those words: gun violence is not a major problem in Westchester. And in the News 12, which was the first debate between the two candidates, Jamal Bowman called him on it, and he said he never said that. So I Googled gun violence is not a major problem in Westchester County, George Latimer. Guess where I found it? On the Westchester County website, and Westchester County press release, and the announcement of the Westchester County Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. He said he did not say that. And it's right there on his own website. My take on the whole thing is, when you say stuff like gun violence is not a major problem in Westchester County, tell that to the people of Mount Vernon, your hometown, where you grew up on the south side of Mount Vernon, how you tell us all the time. You're obviously not in touch with what's going on. I mean, gun violence is probably not a major problem in Rye where you live, but gun violence is a problem in Mount Vernon. And actually, the Mount Vernon Police Department PBA president said as of May 26th, there have been at least 15 related assaults so far this year. That is a problem. And this year is not an outlier, because the next line says this is the same number of incidents the same time of year last year, same time this time last year. So we have a problem. We have a problem somewhat in New Rochelle. Gun violence is a major problem. and Yonkers and Lower Westchester in the district where you are running to become congressman over this district that consists of more than where you live in Upper Westchester, where major gun violence may not be a problem. It is a problem down here. Public safety is a problem. And that made me question your qualifications for the job for the district that you want to run in. And, you know, I'm just using your words. This is not Black Westchester making up something. I went to your website, to your press release, and you said those words. And that is not true. And you know, so back to the event yesterday. The event happened at the Dole Center. Hundreds of children, adults, seniors gathered for the event. Had music, laughter, prayers, barbecue, and all that stuff. The youth shelter of Westchester, Moms of Banned Violence, the city of Mount Vernon, the Youth Borough, Department of Recreation, Nubians with Attitudes, Snug, 914 Lock, Youth Cred, and other community partners put this thing together. And in this anti-gun violence prevention event, or near, which is just as bad as that, but near, there was gunfire. And I was reminded, Damon, of when they were having the launch of My Brother's Keeper at the Dole Center, and all the elected officials, including Mayor Richard Thomas, was there, and the Dole Center got shot up. And I'm like, so, you know, this is not a new thing. You know, gun violence is and has been a problem in Mount Vernon, in Westchester, but specifically, I'm speaking from Mount Vernon right now.
George's hometown.
When he states in his statements and at debates and stuff, he says people try to make him out to be a racist, which we've never done. I've never called him a racist. I believe some racist people are supporting you. You always tell us you love Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon's your hometown. You love Black people. You grew up on the south side of Mount Vernon. This is your hometown. You talk about completing Memorial Field for your hometown, the town that you love. You are out of touch with your hometown. And major parts of your district that you are running to become a congressman over. So, police, the mayor, the PBA president all said, no, I wanted to say this, make sure I get this out. Nobody was injured. A Dole Center employee told me they rushed all the kids in, all the seniors in, had them in like bathrooms and auditorium and everything. They had them sheltered in for a while to, you know, police secured the area or whatever. The police never caught the individual. They gave chase, but they never caught the individual. They're still looking for the individual who did the shooting. I don't know if they saw him or just heard the shots, but they gave chase and were not able to find it. And if you know anything, they're telling you call the Detectives Division 914-665-2510, which is in the article, or I think there's a tip line or something. And all that's in the article. I'm going to put the link to the article up. But, you know, it's like, yo, there's an anti-gun violence event, and there's shots fired near it.
Oh, well, all right.
Well, you could go on, and I'm giving the different sides of what I heard, but go ahead.
Well,
I know you have.
I talked to numerous people that were there, and it wasn't near, it was there, right? It wasn't near, it was there. I think, and for whoever's watching, you know, and this is not criticism. This is advice. the people of Mount Vernon deserve a plan. They deserve a plan on what the police department is going to do with dealing with public safety in Mount Vernon. You cannot, the old saying, those who don't plan to fail. And if there's not a comprehensive plan of what they're going to do with the guns, the influx of guns, the crime and violence, the youth in Mount Vernon, it has to have a plan. Even if the plan fails, you try to execute a plan. Even if it fails, you try to execute a plan, because you don't learn until you fail. Then you know what to do and what not to do. But and I've heard my brother Jesse Van Loo and other people in Mount Vernon that they just want to know, what is the plan? What is the plan? And this is not knocking anybody, but I think the people are deserving a plan, some type of plan. And even at this point, when you have this gun initiative from Westchester County, still, what was the plan with that? And how do you have a gun initiative and you don't include the district attorney's office?
Oh, the task force. You know about the task force?
Right, the task force. And,
right.
and I didn't see anybody from the district attorney's office. So this is, and unfortunate, it leaves me to believe that was just rhetoric. Because if you got an illegal gun, your ass should get locked up. It is what it is. At this point, there's no excuses. We made excuses in the past, but young Black children are forced to get guns because everybody else has a gun. But we should not, it falls on the adults and the lawmakers and the policymakers and the public safety heads to make sure that we don't force young people, we don't put young people in that type of scenario that they have to get a legal gun because they don't feel safe walking home from school, going to the store, getting their mother some milk, in all these situations. It's the adults' fault. It's easy to blame the children, but you're not doing your job as a leader and an elected official and a law enforcement head. So, the people of Mount Vernon deserves a plan. It's about to get really warm outside. And we know when it gets warm in Mount Vernon, it gets crazy. And I don't think anybody will disagree with me on that. But I think for the safety of the community, safety of the business owners, even the safety of the police officers, there should be a plan on how to address crime and violence, how to address the influx of guns, include the district attorney's office. How do you say that without the district attorney's office? And then you have to also, how do you address these kids? How do you address the mental health of these young kids, man? Like they've been living in a war zone most of their damn life. And it's our fault. It's the adults' fault. They have to figure out how to survive in a community that people just shoot and kill and run up. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. So not only that, we have a serious mental health problem.
Absolutely. Congressman Jamal Bowman tweeted out shortly after his team was holding a mobile constituent service at the event. They had a table where the shooting occurred in Mount Vernon, and he says, you know, his people okay, everybody's okay. He ended with, "We are monitoring the situation and we'll do everything to help those impacted. I'm sending love and strength to Mount Vernon and our entire community." I appreciate that. So I did talk to people in the Bowman camp, including the volunteer. Well, I got to talk to the volunteer, but I heard what he had told that he was in. He said he felt like he was in the middle of that. He was shook by the whole situation. I couldn't reach him. That he would talk that day because he was still shook over the whole thing. Like it just, you know, according to him, it happened at the event. Again, there have been conflicting reports because one report we heard actually that an individual with a gun went into the crowd to shoot someone in the crowd. Other reports that it was near the corner of 6th Avenue, South 6th Avenue and 4th Street, which is the corner that Dole Center sits on. I think the mayor said it was hundreds and hundreds of feet away, but they could hear it. So again, you know, when these things happen, you know, you get conflicting reports. We're staying on top of it, trying to get to the bottom of it. But that's what was said. But not to nitpick and not to really be negative, not to attack. So George Latimer that started the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force, who feels like gun violence is not a major problem in Westchester. What we didn't see or hear or receive is a statement from him speaking on the event. Again, that happened in his hometown, where he grew up on South 7th Avenue on the south side of Mount Vernon, in the district that he's running to be congressman, and in the lower part of the county that he is the county executive for. So that's just stating the facts. Yeah, that's just stating the facts. It's crazy, yo. It's just so much going on right now. I do want to piggyback off what Damon said about the plan, and while the violence and all of that predates the current administration and has plagued the last few administrations, each person that was running for mayor promised to get a hold of it and create a plan to deal with it. We do have a lot of great men and women on the Mount Vernon Police Department who are working, overworked, and were underpaid. I think they just got a raise or whatever, or they're getting a raise. But they're working with short numbers. There's a mass exodus of Mount Vernon Police Department. Some people are just retiring. You know, that comes with and with the territory. And then, you know, a lot of people are leaving to go to other departments in Westchester County, including the county police. At least 20 or so officers are going to the county police. So the county is taking some of our best assets away. And one officer that he posted on Facebook, he switched over to, I think, Bronxville Police Department or something like that. And his commute is about 5 minutes longer, but he's making $35,000 more a year. Just, you know, I know people that have gone to Greenberg and other places, they're making $35,000, $40,000 more on day one. And these other departments are not as busy as the Mount Vernon Police Department. Less calls, less crime, and they're making more money. The overworked police officers in the Mount Vernon Police Department are doing what they can. Not that I think by any means they're perfect. I mean, there is a DOJ investigation, so I'm not trying to paint them as perfect, but they are doing a good. They're doing. There are many members of the Mount Vernon Police Department doing the best job that they can do with the numbers they have, with the resources they have, and there's just I think the budget, the Mount Vernon City budget is budgeted for 208 police officers, and they have something like 164 or something like that. Right. So, why, let me just finish this. So why are we not having, why not we not having recruitment? We were a couple of years without having recruitment in Mount Vernon. And what happened, Damon, they were taking people off the list of the Westchester County recruitment. These people took the test not to become cops in Mount Vernon, but become cops somewhere in Westchester. And, where they fell on the list, they weren't the first ones picked. So when their number came up, Mount Vernon Police Department came up, and they worked there 2 years or so and get the experience, and they switch over to their neighborhood police department or other police departments and make a lot more money. But we're not having our own recruitment. People who are taking the test to be Mount Vernon police officers, we're pulling from a pool of people that take the test from the Westchester. Those people didn't sign up for Mount Vernon. They had no intention of working for Mount Vernon. That's what we're getting some of. We have to have the recruitment. And I want to ask, just in a dollars and cents type of situation, I probably need to ask the city council as well and the controller, if the city is budgeted for 208, that means you allocated pay for 208 police officers, and we only have 164. Where is the pay for that other 40-something officers that are budgeted, and why aren't we using that to hire people and recruit people? That's a question that Mount Vernon residents should be asking. It's crazy. I know you were about to say something, David. I saw you about to say something.
No, well, that's a question. That's the question that should be asked, because if every year, if they're budgeting for 208 and they're not hiring, you should be automatically within the budget to hire the officers that you're short. And then the next question is, then what are you doing with the money? That's one of the main questions, is what are you doing with the money if you're not hiring? And then you end up spending more money because you have to pay overtime. That's what it is. That's the nature of the beast. That's what happens when you're short. No matter what law enforcement department that you're in, you have to cover those positions. So then you have to cover those positions with overtime. So that's why you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan on how you're going to deal with public safety, no matter what police department that you're in. It should be a complete outline plan, or you're just going to continue to run into issues. So it's upon the leadership of the city to put a plan together for public safety, and it's for the people, man. Like, you just can't keep getting people killed.
And you live in the city.
Right.
And this is for your safety too.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I
And,
mean? We got
right.
elected officials that live on the south side of Mount Vernon,
But
including my mayor.
not having a proper public safety plan, how to deal with situations, affects your businesses, right? It affects your quality of life. It affects if your businesses can make money. It affects if people want to come into your city and spend money.
Wait. Let me take. Wait. So they were having. I stopped by Jamal Bowman's campaign office on Gramerton Avenue, and I heard a young lady from New Rochelle say they were doing campaigning. They were doing phone banking from 6 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other location? Because we don't want to leave Mount Vernon at 9 o'clock at night when it's dark. Like they don't want to be, as women, they don't want to be, they scared to go to their car in Mount Vernon at 9 o'clock, leaving the campaign office. Like they were asking, can they do it from home or from other locations? Because, there was people from their shelter didn't want to come to Mount Vernon. Like this is how, and that's one incident. But then how do you think people want to come to your city, for businesses or to the restaurant, or you want to come and there's a meeting or something. You want to be out of here by a certain time because you don't want to be here after dark. That's a general feel of the neighboring communities, the neighboring cities. That is an issue. And then you're not going to attract other businesses, which is what's needed. We need more businesses in the you know what I'm saying? In Mount Vernon, bigger businesses. And who's coming? Why would you come here?
No,
If public safety is an issue, I'm not gonna risk my customers and my employees in my life opening a business in Mount Vernon.
look, you have public safety issues, you don't have a hospital. And you got an overcrowded school system. You have nothing, there's nothing other to attract people there. There's nothing to attract people there. Because even if you move there, you're going to pay high taxes, and then you got to spend another $30,000 to send your kid to a private school. Why do that when I could move into a neighboring city, and I don't have to spend all that money, extra money outside of my tax dollars to get my child a decent education? See, this is, but you know what? You can't. The current administration is just another layer on administrations over the last 15 to 20 years that have failed the city of Mount Vernon. Straight music. It is what it is. But we don't want to have those type of conversations and how to move forward. And then people are just used to it. Like it's like a domestic violence victim. When you just used to being beaten and lied to for so long, you don't see it, but other people on the outside see it. And that's the condition of Mount Vernon. They've been beaten and lied to by these crooked ass politicians for decades that leave office rich and the city gets poor every administration.
Actress Jennifer Lewis said, and she's probably not the first person to say it, but the video going on social media, she said, when you sit in shit too long, stop stinking.
Mm-hmm.
After some point, you have to get your ass up and get out of the shit, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get comfortable in the shit.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So, we got a lot of things. One of the other topics, unless you have more on that, one of the other topics we were talking about. So, I briefly teased it in the beginning. So, this has been a rough week for former House member Mondaire Jones. He caused quite a stir among progressive Democrats and the Westchester Black community after endorsing Jamal Bowman primary opponent, George Latimer. Drew sharp criticism from former colleagues, people, the members of the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, including I want to pull that up. Hold on, including Representative Barbara Lee, who hold on, who she's I'm trying to find the article so I can read it off. She's a high-ranking member. She's one of the highest-ranking female, highest-ranking members in the Democratic leadership.
Mhm.
She basically said, "Okay, here it goes. 1 second. So yeah. Jones is losing support from key members of the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, including Congresswoman Barbara Lee from California, the highest-ranking African-American woman appointed to the Democratic leadership, who serves as the co-chair of Policies and Steering Committee. And she is the former chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, and she's the co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Other people from the CBC, who she said she was appalled at Mondaire's endorsement. Freshman CBC member, Congresswoman Summer Lee from Pennsylvania, who decisively defeated the AIPAC-supported primary challenger on April 23rd in the special election, called the endorsement incredibly disappointing. Here we have former CPC, Congressional Progressive Caucus, and CBC, Congressional Black Caucus member, who was endorsing against both a progressive and black man who was the first black man in his seat, she said. So it couldn't be me, but I think, and I hope that the people will look at that for what it is. The first black woman elected to Congress in Missouri from Ferguson, Congresswoman Cori Bush, was also a member of the CBC. She called the endorsement disgusting. Is this who we want to be? Someone that members can't even trust? Someone that members know will be your friend one day, and then as soon as it's beneficial to him, will completely not only turn on you, but go and support the person who is challenging you. That was so that was this week on June 4th, I believe, or just before June 4th. A couple of days later, after getting his black card revoked from the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Progressive Caucus, they released a statement that they are rescinding their endorsement of Jones. He positioned himself as squad adjacent during his time in Congress. Again, Representative Cori Bush said, who was also a member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, hails from Missouri. She said, and then now, when it's beneficial to him, he will go up against someone who actually was there from him. Other progressives rallied in support of Bowman, including AOC, who said Dem unity means supporting Bowman. The CPC said a number of factors led into the Congressional Progressive Caucus PAC rescinding its endorsement of Jones. Evan Brown, the PAC executive director, said this wasn't a unanimous decision of the PAC board. Nobody questioned it. Like, they unanimously rescinded their endorsement. What you have here, Mondaire Jones' opponent, Congressman Mike Lawler, who's a Republican who turned the seat red, has been powerfully pointing out how close Mondaire and Jamal were, even questioning in the endorsement. He was like, "Wow, you back in 2020, you said we need more people like Jamal Bowman in Congress. That was what you said. Now all of a sudden you don't stand with him, you don't see eye to eye with him, and you are trying your best to distance yourself from the heat that Jamal's catching, and you endorse his opponent. That would be enough." But then the Working Family Party also pulled its funding in support of Mondaire Jones. They issued the statement. You could also see it in the article. And then Jews for Jamal reacted to the Mondaire statement. I mean, the Mondaire endorsement of George. And basically, because Mondaire says he stands firm and he did this for the support of his Jewish constituents. Well, there are some Jewish people that said, you don't stand up for us. You don't represent us. And one of the letter writer said, my wife and I initially were thrilled to have someone like Mondaire Jones to support for Congress. But as proud Jews, we are deeply disappointed that he would go out of his way to endorse George Latimer, whose campaign is being funded by MAGA donors and pro-war lobby AIPAC, the same people supporting Mike Lawler, his opponent. Mondaire Jones' opponent. I was shocked to learn that Mondaire himself received over $200,000 from AIPAC throughout his career, and I find it deeply offensive that Jones claimed to be doing this for the Jewish constituents. This move reeks of opportunism. So, yeah, it's been a rough week for the former Congressman Mondaire Jones. Got his black card revoked. The progressive caucus was even stronger in their words. Like, yo, they're spending money to reelect Jamal Bowman in this very heated race, and you enjoy our support, and you endorse the person running against him backed by AIPAC.
Yeah.
Like, yo, and basically they saying that's not progressive. And again, I said this in the beginning, for George Latimer, who fashions himself to be a progressive, the congressional, if you win and you become a freshman congressman, the congressional progressive caucus does not consider you progressive. Just a mere endorsement of you made someone they supported get his endorsement rescinded.
Right.
In the words of Kendrick Lamar, they're saying that George and Mondaire, they not like us. They not like us. You're not progressive. They don't recognize you as progressive. So if you got this is important. If you got two big congressional caucuses that's more support Jamal Bowman, and you going in there and you win, you're not going to have their support. You said you're going to unify everybody. You're also not going to have support of the leader who has endorsed Jamal Bowman. Like, so you're going against. You're not gonna be able to get done the things that you think you're going to be able to get done in Congress, and you're not going to have the cooperation of everybody that you think. And that needs to be understood. So yes, Mondaire had a rough week.
So I got the new setup, so I don't have all my sounds.
Oh, okay.
I have to start. I got to load some. I'll probably work on that tonight. But I really think that Mondaire's finished. I think his political career is down the drain because, number one, he has no platform at this point. He's a man without a platform. He can't call himself a progressive. His black card has been revoked from the Congressional Black Caucus. He tried to run in CD 10, I believe, down in the village. Running on that, he was a black gay man, and he lost to, I believe, a heterosexual man, even in the gay district. So I think that and the move that he did against Jamal Bowman, and the response from the Working Families Party, and the response from the Congressional Black Caucus, and the response from the Congressional Progressive Caucus, he's a man without a platform at this point. And, you know, I really think it's sad because he had a promising career, but I go back to what my pastor says, 2024 is the year of exposure, and God's going to show you who people really are. And this time we should believe them when they show us who they really are. And Mondaire showed us who he is. And I can't see him pulling this off moving forward, especially if Jamal loses. Unless he's just gonna be just sell his soul to the devil completely to AIPAC. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. And he's probably going to get a job in one of those AIPAC funded PACs and become the black face of AIPAC, you know, because that's the only way he's going to survive, other than just going to a law firm and working somewhere at a law firm. But I think what we see is response to all that is that his ego is too big, and he want that AIPAC money. Like, yo, this money that AIPAC is handing out is like crack. It's like straight crack to these politicians. And I think the average person, no matter what color you are, should be concerned on the money that they're giving to these politicians, man. It's really crazy. And it's just not Republicans, it's Democrats, man. It's Democrats running with their hand out. Running with their hand out. You know, so we have to, I mean, democracy, Ben Brown said, it's a lot of money. Yes, they're giving a lot of money. And I also did an article, and the person that received the most money from AIPAC in 34 years is our president, Joe Biden. He received over $4 million from AIPAC. Over 4 million. And we wonder why Netanyahu ain't paying attention to President Biden, because he already know that these organizations has already gave this man over $4 million over his political career. And now he's president. And he's sending our tax dollars, and he's sending bombs over there for genocide. Yeah, I said it. Genocide. That's what it is. We must start calling it for what it is. So imagine you could be in office for 4 years or 6 years, and you get $2-3 million, $500,000 sitting in your account, gaining 7 or 8% interest.
Right.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So this is the trick. This is the trick that they're doing with our politicians. And then they're passing these laws to literally quiet us for being critical of the money they send into Israel and the Israel oppression of the Palestinians. You know, and let me say something, and which I saw. Oh man, what's his name? Farad, the guy from CNN. He said something. The interviewer, she called the protests anti-Semitic that's on the colleges, and the way he answered it was so real. He said that the older generation of Jews that lived through the Holocaust and the Holocaust survivors, they remember that type of oppression. He said, but in the last 30 years, the younger Jewish generation, all they know is the oppression of Israel on the Palestinians. So they're speaking up against the oppression of a government over a people, and it's not anti-Semitic, but it allows those who have their anti-Semitic views to take advantage of the protests that these young people are having. And I think that was a great point. So when people actually say, you know, when you're defending the Palestinians, the average person, not Hamas, you know, I think Hamas can go to hell. I think they should be accountable, you know, and the leaders of Hamas, the ICC, has put out a warrant for their arrest, just as well as they're seeking warrants for Netanyahu and members of his cabinet arrests. And rightly so, they both sides need to be arrested. But we need to understand what we're seeing today and what we have saw for the last 30 years is oppression, is apartheid. And when we started this crusade to address it, we played Ta-Nehisi Coates' video when he went out to Israel and visited in Palestine and what he saw. And he said he saw apartheid. He saw oppression. So come on, man.
He said, I knew what this is. I know what this is. He said, I recognize this. That's what we go through. I recognize this. I put a video up. I don't know if you saw it. Can you play that real quick? It's short. This is from a Republican congressman from Kentucky talking about the influence of AIPAC. I just want people to see this.
All right.
Buddy, but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter.
That's absolutely crazy.
I've had 4 members of Congress say, I'll talk to my AIPAC person. And it's literally what we call them, my AIPAC guy.
Why have I never heard this before?
Why would they want to tell their constituents that they've basically got a buddy system with somebody who's representing a foreign country? It's the only country that does this.
So every now and then you get somebody to say the quiet part out loud. And that was real brief. But this is a Republican, a current active Republican congressman talking about how our elected officials are influenced by AIPAC. The reason I wanted to show that is this is what it means to take money from AIPAC. So if George wins, he will have to consult with his AIPAC person before he can rule on certain things.
Yeah, well,
he will not be able to move without approval of his AIPAC person, because he's going into Congress where they're doing this already. That's what it means to take money from AIPAC.
But you're missing the point. He already has an AIPAC handler. It took him 10 days to respond to the question, are all Muslims part of Hamas? So he had to check in with his AIPAC handler before he answered the question. That's why he couldn't answer the question right away on Facebook. So he already has that type of person. He's already there.
But I just wanted our people to see when we talk about, cause they're like, yo, what's the big deal about AIPAC? What's the big deal? And let me make this point, Damon. I also wanted to make this point. So in the News 12 debate, George Latimer says it doesn't matter where I get the money from. You should just judge my record. While he says that, he says that Jamal Bowman is influenced by Hamas and Hamas supporters because they're the one giving him money. It can't be both ways. So if it's okay for you to take money from AIPAC, and we should not look at where your money comes from, then we shouldn't look at the money that you say Jamal is taking. Also, you get upset when people refer to you because of the things that AIPAC are doing and saying that you support this genocide, what people are considering genocide. You support these things. And you say no, but in the same breath, you blame Jamal for being a Hamas supporter because he called for a ceasefire. That's the main problem that they had. When it wasn't popular, before the whole world was saying it, Jamal Bowman and a few others were saying there needs to be a ceasefire. In the end, to the end to the innocent lives being lost in Gaza. He did condemn October 7th. We all did. You know what I'm saying? How many times do people got to say that? You know what I'm saying? But he stood up for the other side as well. And that's why AIPAC and others are going after him, because he didn't get 100% behind Israel. And some of the people who have written letters to Black Westchester have said, you know, with the way AIPAC's moving, the things that they have done, why are they willing to put so much money into Latimer? Because he sees them as an ally. They see him as an ally. They see him as one of them. You don't put money into somebody who don't believe what you believe. You don't spend millions of dollars in somebody who's not standing for what you stand for. Right. And AIPAC has shown you what they stand for. AIPAC has shown you how they get down. And listening to this man who said the quiet part out loud, the congressional members, when they ask questions and when they got a rule, they have to consult with their AIPAC person, their babysitter, their handler, because they've been given so much money. The same people are giving money to George Latimer.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. And
so he will have to, when a bill comes in on reparations, on gun control, on ceasefire, whatever, he's gonna have to consult with his AIPAC handler. And if he doesn't, they're gonna take care of him. You know what I'm saying? They're not, he won't, they're gonna remove their support of him. So you can't take money from groups like AIPAC and then don't do their bidding. That doesn't work.
No, well, that's what it is. They give them the laws they write the laws and they give them to law. They give it to them so they vote on it. You know that bill that they wanted to ignore international law, the ICC ruling on the report on the warrants. Everybody that sponsored that bill got money from AIPAC. That's just complete control. That's complete control of U.S. politicians. So
and the bill he's talking about is the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act.
No, that's not the bill I'm talking about.
Oh,
the bill that I'm talking about was a piece of legislation condemning the International Court of Justice.
Oh, okay.
Seeking warrants against Netanyahu, and not only Netanyahu, but also the Hamas leaders too. Like they're seeking warrants for the Hamas leaders, and they're seeking warrants for Netanyahu and one of his chief of staff members for genocide and violating international, war mandates or laws or whatever, things that they shouldn't. you should not supposed to do when you having war. There are international laws on that. So what they did was Congress condemned it, and it passed. And those sponsors, those major sponsors, were all got money from AIPAC. Now they're saying it's not going to it's not going to pass the House, but I mean it's not going to pass the Senate. So, but at the end of the day, it's called the House Illegitimate Court Counteraction Act, which aims to bar U.S. entry and restrict U.S.-based property transaction for the ICC officials involved in the probe. So what they're saying is, if Netanyahu comes to America, the ICC cannot arrest him in America. That's what it's doing. And it was sponsored and promoted by House Speaker Mike Johnson, who pushed the bill. He's received $491,000 from pro-Israel lobbyists. The House Foreign Affairs Committee chairman, who's received $790,000. Representative Chip Roy of Texas, who received $43,000, and Representative Brian Mast of Florida, who has received $610,000 from pro-Israel lobbyist groups. Now understand that. Look, this is the House Foreign Affairs Committee chairman is bought and paid. The House Speaker bought and paid. We don't own our government no more, ladies and gentlemen. It's owned by pro-Israel lobby groups like AIPAC and their subsidiaries. We have to understand what is going on here. This is serious business. This is serious business.
Absolutely. I was referring to the bill you spoke about earlier, that Mike Lawler, right? And that bill was called the Anti-Semitic Awareness Bill. It passed 320-91. It was sponsored by Mike Lawler, who received a lot of money from AIPAC. It will require that the Department of Education adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, a broad definition of anti-Semitism when enforcing anti-discrimination laws. Defines anti-Semitism as a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. But it makes it to speak against Israel will be labeled anti-Semitic. And one of the things that they had a problem with, we discussed this, so I won't get into it in detail because we discussed it on a previous show, was basically make it, they used the example of Jews being responsible for the death of Jesus Christ.
Right.
And to say that, which is in the Bible. Again, I'll put the article up and you can read the different verses and stuff where it's at, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And they all explain biblically that the Jewish Pharisees and Sadducees and Jewish people were calling for the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. But now to say that you would now be labeled anti-Semitic if this bill passes, which then we question, does that make the Bible anti-Semitic? Again, you can watch the previous show on that, and we talked about that 2-3 shows ago. But I just wanted to bring that back up, like the importance of, so you have AIPAC, and they're giving money to all of these high officials in Congress and stuff, and then they get them to write bills like the Anti-Semitic Act and the bill that Damon's talking about and push for legislation, you know what I'm saying, and changing our laws. We're being influenced by a foreign country. There's supposed to be something you're supposed to be late. You're supposed to be able to supposed to register as a when you're influenced by foreign companies. You got to register.
Foreign agent. Well,
Yeah.
They're also looking into that, they're also they're already looking into that with one of the representatives. Let me see if I can find it right now. They are also, like, people are looking into it because people are trying to figure out what is going on here. So there's in the American Conservative, there's an article, should AIPAC register as a foreign agent? So, I mean, people, it's just not just it's not just us saying it. I'm gonna put it in the group. I think it works, right? Yep. Should AIPAC register as a foreign agent? So people should be able to see that, but people are questioning it, you know. But we have to really start off locally and work our way up to the federal level to protect our democracy. Our democracy is at risk, ladies and gentlemen. And for the little democracy that Black people have, that's even more at risk because we have less democracy than any other American. So, you know, if the greater democracy is at risk, we really in trouble as Black folks, you know, because we just don't oh man, what yeah. So we really just have to really pay attention, man. And I'm just disgusted at those Black leaders that are just really silent, and those who have taken money to be silent with everything that's going on. Like, it just proves to me that politics is just a bunch of hypocritical mess. If we're able to just and those who make excuses for taking money from racist people and then say it's okay, but you tell us not to vote for them, but it's cool for you to take money from them. Like somebody explain that. Somebody explain the logic to that. Either you on my side or you against me. And George didn't, and you know, I'm still, and I'm going to keep saying it. George didn't have to take the AIPAC money. He didn't have to take the AIPAC money to have a race. And really, you know, I think what was Netanyahu and everybody has taken over the airwaves. So you have to run on that, and you have to discuss it. And you can't run from it, George. You put yourself in this situation. You put yourself in this type of situation. We didn't do it. We're just addressing what everybody else is questioning. We're addressing what everybody else is questioning. We're addressing it here locally in Westchester County. But you did that. I didn't do it. You decided to run. You decided to do it. We did not do it. And if you win, it's always going to be questionable. And we see more and more that AIPAC run these politicians. And we're allowing it, and the people are allowing it to be a culture of political buffoonery, that they do not represent the people. And if they want to be in office, they're going to have to go kiss AIPAC's ring. It's no more democracy. Y'all worried about Trump. Y'all better worry about AIPAC. I've always told people Trump is a distraction. He's a man-made distraction. And people are so emotional when you mention this man's name. And he's a distraction. They got all y'all in your feelings. And he's a distraction while they're buying every other politician up, Republican and Democrat, the same people that fund Trump campaign. We have to be smarter than that with all our degrees.
Absolutely. I put the link to the bill that I was talking about, and I also put the link to the show where we discuss it, and so you can, instead of repeating everything we already said, you can, if you missed the show, the link is in all the social media, so you can check that out. Yo, I thought Instagram is only out. We're still live on Instagram?
Yeah, just stay quiet.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody. Because we're getting a lot of views from a lot of the different formats. Like I said, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on all our Facebook pages, and I shared it on our Twitter page. So you can actually, if you go to the Black Westchester, Damon shared it, and I shared Damon's link. He's live. We're live on Twitter too. So you can go to Damon's page or the Black Westchester page, and you can watch this also on Twitter. We're taking advantage of the different social media formats now. It's a beautiful thing where we can stream on multiple. Everybody don't mess with Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't mess with Twitter. Some people don't mess with IG. Some people, you know what I'm saying? So we're putting it on all different forms, so everybody can watch it, share it. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe so you can see all our videos when they come out, and make sure that you like this and share it. You know what I'm saying? On all other formats, make sure that you like it and you share it. And feel free to leave your comments. For everybody who's going to watch this after the fact, make sure you leave comments, your thoughts and comments and feedback. And again, it goes on blackwestchester.com, the video, and for people that missed it. And when we put the links to all the stories we talked about today, they're all stories we just did in Black Westchester. So you can go to blackwestchester.com and you can read in detail the stories and the links that are coming from the stories and where we got the information from and everything. But more importantly, we want to hear from you. Sometimes you'll see somebody share it on Facebook and they'll leave a bunch of comments on Facebook. Leave the comment on Black Westchester under the story of the video. Leave it there so everybody who reads the story can see it and they can comment too. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to encourage more engagement with the viewers, with the readers, with the, you know what I'm saying? So please leave your feedback. You know what I mean? I appreciate the text messages and the messengers and the emails and stuff, but leave the comments on the website, and shout to the ones that's doing it. Shout to everybody who's supporting us. Again, this is episode 396. We're coming up on our 400th episode, and we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. Yes, Black Westchester has been here giving you real talk for the community since 2014. Black Westchester has been giving you black news with the black point of view since 2014. So, celebrate with us, and form a donation, buy our products when you see us, promote our books. We we appreciate all of y'all, because we couldn't have done this without all of y'all. We could have had a cool show and could have been talking about the dopest stuff, but if nobody's watching and sharing it and listening, what good are we? You know what I mean? So it's y'all that y'all watch it, y'all share it, you know what I mean, and y'all support it. We greatly appreciate y'all. I just want to get that out there ahead of time. I think most of the things I wanted to talk about today we did, but it's just crazy. We're in a crazy time right now. I know you hear people say every year, this is one of the most important elections of your life, this, that, and the other. I know you get tired of hearing that. I know you hear stuff like, oh, people die for you to vote and stuff like that. But politics is a participatory sport. Voting is only one part of that. Being engaged in between the elections with the elected officials, with the politicians who win, being engaged, going to the town halls, going to the city council meetings, going to the school board meetings, the library trustee board meetings, whatever meetings they are, you know what I'm saying? Letting them hear what they have to say and asking them the questions and calling them to the carpet and holding their feet to the fire for the things you don't agree with and getting your point across and your interests across. Nobody's going to give you anything because it's the right thing to do. Freedom is not free. You know what I'm saying? There's a price to pay. What are you willing to do for what it is that you want? You complain about everything being wrong. You complain that we don't got this, we don't got that. Nobody cares about us about this. No politician. What are you willing to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you just going to go do what they tell you and just vote row A all the way? That's how some of these candidates get in there that don't deserve to be in there, because you went row A all the way.
Exactly.
And there's an article, and I'm going to find an article. It says some of our biggest cities have been destroyed by Republican rule. I mean, the Democratic rule. Like in a city like Mount Vernon, you cannot blame the conditions of the city on the Republicans, and you can't even blame it on white people solely because it's Democratic rule. It's Democratic run. You have in the Congress, you got Republicans and Democrats fighting like cats and dogs. In Mount Vernon, you got Black Democrats trying to politically decapitate other Black Democrats. What part of the game is that? And now, with this election in CD16, you have Democrats trying to politically decapitate other Democrats, Black, white, and indifferent. The Democratic Party, AIPAC is. They're getting a good return on their money, and that return is the division in the Democratic Party. All the infighting that's going on, that's what they pay for. That's what they want to see. And in control of the House, don't think that they're not trying to eye this seat and try to see how they can't make this seat red too. They got a very narrow margin right now. They're trying to add to that. They're trying to turn over all seats. And Mondaire lost the backing of some Black people, the progressive people, some Jewish people, the working family people. There's no chance he's going to turn that seat back blue with all those losses. He had a slim chance before all of this. I think it's even slimmer now. Because there's Black people that I know in Westchester who like Lawler. He's not my district. He's not my congressman. You know what I'm saying? But there's people whose congressmen he is. Black people who've talked to me that said they're not voting for Mondaire. They're voting for Lawler. And Lawler has done some stuff for their community, for whatever it is he did. They feel like he deserves to be reelected. So, I mean, we can sit back and keep complaining, or we can stand up and start doing some shit. It's time. It's time to put up a shut up. Like, it's time to stop complaining. Like, me and Damon, we've done these shows and we wrote the articles, and then y'all elect who y'all elect, and then y'all call us and complain. Oh, maybe he was right. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have voted for this person. oh, this person is screwing us over. This person don't care about us. Yeah, the time to complain is beforehand. The time to get involved is beforehand. Don't call us up. Don't be writing us off because of the things we saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then call us later and then tell us you agree with us after you done voted for the person. We don't want to hear it either. I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
I can only give you the information. It's you do what it is you want. But the saying is, you get the government you deserve because you get the government you vote for. So whatever the results is, and this CD16 election, the district attorney election, the presidential election, and all the congressional elections and senate elections that you got coming up this year, whatever the result is, you get what you deserve because you get what you voted for. You think you deserve better? You need to be you want something, you want change, you want a different effect, you gotta do something different than what you've been doing. And lastly, Damon, remember all the people who used to tell us when we were doing the Independence Party, you know, and we supported Bruce Bendich over was a Republican over Tony Scarpino. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't support no Republican. Remember all the heat that Andre Wallace took because he also had the Republican line. Oh no, Democrats don't mix up with the Republicans, and we're Democrats. Remember all of that? Remember what happened to all that talking? Now, Latimer is taking money for some Republican donors, MAGA donors, and AIPAC, and it's okay. What happened to that? The Democratic Party, what happened to all of that? There is no Democratic Party no more. What happened to the strength of the Democratic Party? What happened?
Man. Yeah, it's always do as I say, not as I do. You know, that's what always happens. Do as I say, not as I do.
I see a bunch of people still tuning on. For y'all who have never seen us before, who are seeing us on the multiple social media outlets, this is Black Westchester present the People Before Politics radio show. We come on Sundays 6 to 8. Check out our website, blackwestchester.com, where you get the news with the Black point of view. This is People Before Politics, and we give you that real talk for the community. So I've seen some people, you know, I never seen this before, and you know, they coming about this the first time, like, yo, I didn't know this was here. We here. We celebrating our 10-year anniversary. Come check us out, blackwestchester.com. Welcome all the new viewers.
Yes,
that's it for me, bro. It's just 3 minutes to 8. I'm pretty much talked out. I think we've accomplished a lot of what we want to accomplish. We got a special edition coming out this week, dealing with the CD16 election. It should be a good read. Should give you pause to think, and some stuff to consider. And that's it for me, man. It's like, yo, I like your title, Progressive Politics Going Crazy. Yeah, I think the things we told you is a lot of progressive politics going crazy or going wrong or something, because I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what it is. That's what it is.
We got to stop throwing around definition like progressive. What is a progressive? How do you define? I want to hear from y'all. Hit us in the comment section. What do you find? How do you define progressive? Because I'm telling you, a lot of things I'm seeing ain't progressive.
No.
A lot of people that's call themselves progressives ain't progressive.
Not at all.
Yes, sir.
Not at all.
I'm AJ Woodson. It's my partner in crime, Damon K. Jones. This is what we do. We give you real talk for the community. Black Westchester People Before Politics radio show. This is our episode 396. 4 episodes from our 400th episode, and we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary. And we thank all of y'all who have been holding it down with us. All of y'all have been riding with us. All of you new people that are just getting into us. Check us out. Go to the website. Check out some of the old content. Go to either the website or our YouTube channel. Check out some of the old shows and the topics we discuss. Check us out. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. You know, we give you that that news with the Black point of view and the real talk for the community. Say the things that others are not scared to say, and things that make people uncomfortable. I am comfortable making people uncomfortable. I think people need to get uncomfortable and out their comfort zone. Sometimes people stay in their bubbles in their comfort zones. You want some real change? It's time to get out the comfort zone. That's it, D. You got any last words?
Nah, man, that's it, man. Thanks everybody for watching.
No doubt.
God bless. And see you next Sunday. See you next Sunday. We are out of here. Make sure you go on YouTube, like our page on YouTube.
Subscribe. Yep.
Subscribe and like, man. You could go to, what's your YouTube, AJ?
Mr. AJ Woodson, Mr. AJ Woodson.
Mr. AJ Woodson, like and subscribe. Go to Damon K. Jones on YouTube, like and subscribe, and we both got a bunch of books out. I got 3. Yeah, Damon got like 33. Like, so I can't keep up with them. Books, man. So we're gonna go over that one day too. But peace out, y'all. Y'all be good. We out.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a...
Hold up, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
For all y'all,
it's not over. It's not over.
I just want to make a clear thing, man. So George is talking all that stuff, right? Right? Now, those people that y'all are just watching, watch the intro, outro, and guess who's in the intro, outro? George Lattimore. So if we wasn't supporting George all this time,
and if we were just political operatives and we had no credibility and we was all those things that they say about us, yo, he's been on the show several times.
Exactly. But wait, no, but he's in the outro and intro.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that. Peace again, y'all. Watch it. You'll see George. You'll see him.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it.